Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Rise of the Tomb Raider on the PC on Survivor difficulty, and this is my guided walkthrough for this, the hardest challenge setting in the game. So we're on installment 3 right now. We're very early on into the game. At this point, we are looking for some shelter, so we'll conveniently find a base camp nearby with some hardwood for us to grab, as well as being able to get a heal pretty soon using a healing salve, doing a boss encounter with a bear in this particular video, and then doing a stealth section that I have a really good path for you. So really good ideas for when you're playing this game. You always want to be doing the tombs, you always want to be scavenging the environment, you always want to be doing side missions, you know, all those things that are going to make the game easier for you down the road. And even if you're not looking for the game to be less challenging, it's still fun to do those things. I think this is a really good game. It's accessible. It's just kind of hard for me personally to do these commentaries when the challenge level is not up to what it normally is for the projects that I cover. Take Uncharted on Brutal, for instance, as a comparison. So, what we're going to do, I think, is just head back to the camp at this point. And I'm always going to be, well, provided you look around the environment for stuff, I'm always going to have less than you do because of the fact that the less I loot the environment and go off the beaten path to do things, the easier it will be for me later on when I do the editing to not have to do editing, really. Anyway, so we're going to fashion a bow here, increase its damage. You have to do that, it's required. And since we have a skill point, I'm going to apply it into the brawler category, even though I was mistakenly looking through the hunter category here for the skill that I want. And it's the skill that I mentioned in the last video called Efficient Killer. Enemies killed while in stealth will automatically be looted. So it's a really handy way, particularly if you're doing a speedrun of this game, so that you don't have to loot the corpses, press an extra button, it just auto loots the corpses for you. So at this point we're going to run back down the mountain and go over to where the bear is. The bear in this game gives you a fur, which is pretty valuable to use. So anytime you see a boss or a bear boss in the game, you definitely want to take him out to get his fur. Admittedly, you probably will expend a lot of resources to take these bears down because they do take upwards of 3 poison arrows, the poison arrows being the strongest tool you have in the game. And when I say that, I mean that literally. It is completely overpowered, but they do limit how much you can carry. There's also a couple of really good upgrades that you want to make to the poison arrows themselves. I don't know what it's called, but it's in the brawler category if I'm not mistaken, and it's a move where the poison cloud is wider in radius and it lingers longer. I believe those are the attributes, and it's a great way to enhance the power of your poison arrows. It also could be that it damages enemies more, but I don't see how it could because it's so devastating of a move in the first place. Well, not a move, but excuse me. Excuse me. But anyway, now we've had the run-in with the bear. We need to craft a healing salve for ourselves. We will do that by collecting some berries. See right there? Collect herbs and cloth to create a healing salve. So that's exactly what we want to do, using the the instinct mode to locate the actual berries, and then we'll come up here. You're forced to heal over here because it's part of the storyline. It's a nice introductory section to some of the main mechanics in the game. So you're going to get 50 experience points for doing that. Here's Laura looking down the mountain at where the bear is. Best laid plans. Somehow I think that's an of Mice and Men reference. Anyway, so here are the mushrooms. These mushrooms will let you craft poison arrows. However, at this point we can't craft them on the fly yet. We have to go to the base camp. Afterwards, you can actually craft them on the fly. And I think you can carry up to 3, but you start out only being able to carry 2. You might be able to carry more than 3. I haven't purchased every upgrade in the game right now. In each region, there's also one item that will let you see all of the secrets, or most of secrets, or particular secrets, like where the coin caches are. So you want to come into this cave now, like it's directing you to, and pick up more of these mushrooms so that we could take them back to the camp and then craft those poison arrows. Find cloth. Okay, it looks like we need to find the cloth. So the cloth should be in this salvage box up here by the monolith. Yeah, there's the cloth. You don't need to interact with the monolith. Sorry about that. I must have pressed the X button too early. But we're going to jump on back here now, and then we'll be going the other way. Oh yeah, always get these little trees here because they give you the hardwood. And you will need those to craft arrows and also to kindle fires at the camps. Most of the camps that you come across in this game are cold, so you'll need to kindle a fire. And that means that you need wood. It didn't work like that in the last game, but in this game they do mandate that you have hardwood most times. So here's us crafting the poison arrows. Then we're going to go take a nice siesta, and then we're going to do a stealth section. It's divided into 2 parts, and on this particular enemy right up here, what you're going to be doing is doing a stealth takedown on him, and then once you land, you have to press the Y again to do a rock finisher. It's a move that can be mitigated later in the game by just see what happens is later in the game you'll get an upgrade if you buy it, so that you don't have to do the finishing move, so that you only have to jump out of the air from above to kill them, and then that will kill them. You don't need to do a finisher, but that requires an upgrade, which we don't have currently. So you get a checkpoint now, and I have a really good path here. My path is over here, hide in the bushes. Wait until this guy goes by the log, take him out, and feel free to run and literally sprint up to enemies. It doesn't matter in this game. They'll never hear you. If you kill enemies in close proximity to one another, then they do hear you, unless you have the upgrade that lets you get away with killing enemies in closer proximity to one another. So I shouldn't have got that hardwood, actually. I should have just sprinted up here so this guy wouldn't have moved. But you'll see that he moves a little bit. Take him down. If I hadn't got that hardwood, this next guy, I could have taken him with an aerial takedown, but he did move. So jump on down to him, take him down. I think in the previous game you had to press X during those sequences, and sometimes you have to in this game as well, but this game is definitely more stealth based than the last game. So anyway, when the guy is behind the monolith, you want to take him down over here. Make sure he's behind the monolith though, otherwise the enemies to the left will see. At least one of them will see. And then it's very important here that when you come up here now, what we're going to be doing is taking out the one guy on the perimeter of this area, disregarding the two guys over there to the right currently. But you need to make sure, watch the guy's flashlight and make sure that he turns around, obviously, before you take him out. So you want to hide behind these bushes. You see, and then when he turns around, go up to him and take him down. It doesn't matter where you take him down, the other guys will never see you because they're preoccupied. But this next mechanic is going to premiere a tactic where you use a distracting object to distract an enemy and cause him to separate from his teammate. Because if you go up to either of these two guys, they will hear. The other guy that you're not after will hear, because they're just too close to one another. And as I mentioned, we don't have that upgrade yet. That will enable us to take enemies out in close proximity to one another. So take this guy out, because the other guy won't move. So this guy is better to take out first. And then you can take him out. And then as you see right here, it says stealthy for killing all those guys without being seen. So that was a nice, I think that's a really terrific path. I discovered it a long time ago. Well, a week ago, I should say. But otherwise, you have to do the combat. And as I mentioned, the combat's just dull. It's just so bland. So uninspired and just boring. Anyway, so we're going to head on in here now. And this is where the bear boss fight is going to occur. The last time I think I said that the poison arrows stun this guy. They do. However, they're mostly for damaging him heavily. So you want to shoot him in the head, preferably with charged poison arrows. And then you want to shoot arrows and charged arrows into his head or into his body. It doesn't matter too much, but he does take a pounding. I believe that of all the enemies, he does have the most HP. I'm trying to think if the Deathless have more HP than this guy. I don't think they do. I'm not sure, because even the Deathless, it's just one poison arrow. This guy, as you saw, we shot 2 into him. He probably takes 3 or 4 to take care of him. So now he's a pretty big creature, so it does take a while to loot him, as it were. And we'll get a nice bear fur for doing that. Okay, so once he's skinned, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. But you'll come on into here, and there's a couple of items, one being an assault rifle piece. Oh yeah, don't forget that. It's another mushroom. You could actually loot that deer too if you want. And then if you've obtained enough hardwood, you'll be able to light a fire over here. But as you can see from what I'm doing in this guide, I'm just going to point A to point B, not doing any detours, hardly at all. And the reason for that is, if I detour, it's just going to make the video longer, which means longer rendering time, longer uploading time, longer narration time, things like that. So it's definitely different. It's playing the game in a different way than you would. Personally, for me, if I was just playing the game and not going through it and doing a recording of it, I would definitely play the game. You know, go around and loot everything, do the tombs. I decided not to include the tombs in this guide. I'll point them out when I can, but I just don't think that is necessary. I might do a series afterwards where I do all the tombs, and I will be covering the Baba Yaga DLC as well. So there's that. This particular fire, as you can see, do you see how it said 4/3? That the first number 4 is our inventory. The second number, as you saw, 3, is the number of inventory that it takes to do something. In that case, kindle a fire. So it would have gone from 4 to 3, 4 over 3 to 1 over 3. Since it would have taken 3 off of our inventory. But that's what those numbers mean if you're curious. So take a left exactly where I said it right there, and then you go over to the Mongolian ship if you want to do that particular tomb. The reward for doing it is a more expeditious shooting of the bow. I think you can do rapid fire with 2 draws of it. It's not something I really use, to be honest. There might be some coins over there though. I think I'm actually going to backtrack and get those coins from the ship. There's also 2 coins right here as well. I love the coins in this game. I really do. I think, you know where they should have been though? Instead of just on the ground, they should have been in the boxes where you have to use the lockpick. I just think it would have been a little bit funner to know that they're always behind something that not only do you need an upgrade to get, but I think it would have been kind of satisfying to get those personally, rather than them just being on the ground, you know, where anybody can pick them up. Thought that'd be interesting. But anyway, you guys, we're done with installment 3. I will see you in installment 4. Take care.